like you were a #1 junior tennis player in is that the world?
Yeah, I was #1 in the world when I was 15.
Like,
yeah.
The world's a big place.
It was. When I was 15, it happened really quick.
Meet Donald Young, the 14-year-old who has the tennis world in his spit. Donald Young is quite possibly the best player in the world for his age and has won countless titles at junior level.
He's done it. Donald Young with victory on tour. In 2018, he's beaten one of the modern greats in Stan Wawrinka, and it means an awful lot to him.
I just want to be good and play good tennis.
All right, Donald Young, so happy to be sitting down with you, chatting for this interview. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thanks, glad to be here.
So I've been playing pickball for a handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
I played tennis in high school. I didn't follow the tennis scene super religiously. Followed it more since I started playing pickleball. And I know a lot of people that play pickleball don't follow tennis super close. Some do, but not everyone. And a lot of people that watch the pro events, I don't think they know who you are, what you've done, and what your history is with tennis and kind of what led that to this. And so I want to dive a little bit into your history and how you got to this point playing pickleball. So for those listening, like let's dial it back to, I mean, you've been playing tennis probably as long as you can remember.
100%.
100%, right?
Since I was 3.
Since you were 3.
Yeah.
You turned pro 15 when you started competing in Futures Challengers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And but like those years, like you were a #1 junior tennis player in is that the world?
Yeah, I was #1 in the world when I was 15.
Like,
yeah.
The world's a big place.
It was. When I was 15, it happened really quick. Like I went from like winning 12s nationals to 14s. When I was 14, I won the 18s Easter Bowl, and then when I was 15, I was #1 in the world. I won the Australian Open Juniors. It was crazy. It all happened like really fast. I was improving like drastically every year, and it just kind of hit, and then things just were a whirlwind after that. It was so quick.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, like, your parents play tennis? Like, how did you get into it?
Yeah, my parents played. They actually met on the tennis court. They met playing each other in mixed doubles match. So, as a kid, we didn't have a babysitter, so I was out there with them. And if I was good and quiet, I got to play after. So I started when I was 3, and that's just kind of how I went. And I kept playing. I loved it. You had to kick me off the court as a kid. I played till the lights turned off at the club, and it was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. So you were born in Chicago, started playing there, and then you said you moved to... It was Atlanta.
I moved to Atlanta
when you were 15.
Yeah, and in end of 2003, so December 2003. Yep, moved. My parents got an opportunity to run a tennis facility with 24 courts, and just way better for my training and practice. With outside in Atlanta, you could play 10, 11 months out of the year outside. Whereas Chicago is only 3, and most tournaments are outdoor tournaments. Yeah, you're at this point in life. You're training, you're traveling, you're competing. Tell us, like I don't even know, and a lot of listeners here probably don't know like what a day in the life, what a year. Like you're traveling around the world, you're training, you're competing. Like kind of walk us through, your experience, living that life. Yeah, it's just weird.
That's a big question, but
yeah, no, it's a lot. So my first international trip, I was probably 13. I went to France to play a tournament called Le Petit, which is like the best players under 14 in the world come and play, and that was my first trip. And it kind of was weird because I never thought about that. My goal was, and my parents' goal was to get a college scholarship. So that was what we wanted to do. So by the time I was 13, we kind of had that in the bag. I got an offer from Illinois. I got a letter. They were ready. They wanted me to go play.
You never did it, probably.
Never did it, right? Exactly. Didn't go. So we were like, okay, so what's the next step? And it just kept improving. So we're like, to continue my training and my development, I had to sign with the agency and go pro, which at that time going pro was signing with the company. So I signed with IMG, John McEnroe's agent. That story is weird because I was ball playing with my best friend at a senior tournament, and McEnroe was warming up, but he had no one to warm up with. I was too nervous. My friend's more outgoing than me. He asked John, could we warm up with him? He said yes. So we hit with him, and he goes back and tells his agent he had never seen a person like that age with hands similar to his.
Oh, wow.
So his agent came over to my mom and I later, and then how it all started. That relationship,
crazy.
really built just, naturally and organically from the time I was 9 to when I was 14 and signed with them. So that's just kind of how that went. And from there, it kind of happened so quick. Like, they supported me, helped me with wild cards, my development. They had a affiliation with the IMG Ball Terrier Academy at the time, so I went down there to train some. So it was just a lot. And yeah, to get back to your question.
I didn't know you did the Ball Terrier Academy, so I I read Andre Agassi's biography. He trained there.
Yeah.
A lot of tons of people would go through that
100%.
program.
And they were nice. So I would go like for tournaments in Florida. Before tournaments, I would go for like 3 weeks and train. It wasn't my base, but I was able to use that and play with all the top guys. It was a lot of fun.
At what point did you kind of break through like the futures, that stuff, and started, I don't know, you're getting points and then started doing like slams?
Yeah, so it took me a while. Like I got my first wild card when I was 15. Tournaments were asking me to play because I was one in the world in juniors at the time. And I wasn't winning. I went 0-14 in tour level matches. And when I was turned 18, I won my first tour match. And then it kind of jumped from there. And then later that year, I was top 100. And I think I won my first future challenger match kind of earlier the year before. I won one a year before. So when I was like 17, I won my first futures match. So that all kind of happened kind of slow and late. But when it happened, it exploded.
That's quick. Started on. Yeah, that's a grind, man.
Yeah.
Like 2 years to get that first win.
For sure. It took a long time.
And then what was your first slam event?
The U.S. Open. So we have this tournament called Kalamazoo. It's like the national championships in the U.S. And if you win the 18s, you get a wild card to the U.S. Open.
And that's how you got in?
So I won it. Yeah, I won it in 2005, and that's how I got into my first slam. Yeah.
Okay. What's your most memorable slam? Because you made it to the, was it the
round
fourth
16,
or quarters?
Fourth round, yeah. It's pretty U.S. Open for sure. Getting to the fourth round, beating Stan Wawrinka 7-6 in the fifth was pretty cool in like 4 hours and 20 minutes. It was a
I'll have to go watch that one. I don't think
it was a really good match, and yeah, that has to be the most memorable.
What year was that?
2011.
That was 2011.
Super cool, yeah.
But you've done U.S. Open. You've done the French,
Wimbledon, Australia.
Wimbledon,
Yeah, Australia is one of my favorite to play. It's so nice out there.
You made a run in doubles at the French, yeah?
At French, yeah. I made the
When was
finals
that?
in 2017 with Santiago Gonzalez. That was really good. That was a lot
that's
of fun.
incredible.
That was a good run, and yeah, it was like my first time going that deep in like a slam, like to the end of the second week where you're the only person in the locker room. It was pretty cool.
And then like rankings wise, at what point? I mean, you were like top 50 in both singles and,
I was. I made top 50 in both singles and doubles. Yes.
which is remarkable.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was in the same year, so it was cool. 2017.
that was the same
It was
year?
nice. Yeah, it was really
Yeah,
nice.
but that felt good.
It did. I'd always wanted. I'd never been even top 100 in doubles until that, and I was like, wow, it all moved so quick. But it was cool. It was a goal of mine. So yeah, it was awesome.
Then we fast forward a bit. I guess we kind of go. Well, let's talk about getting into pickleball now. So the PPA, MLP, we're kind of having this little battle of contracts, and they're signing a lot of players. And then the PPA announces that they signed you, and I want to hear how that came about. Like, was that a surprise? Was this part of the plans?
Yeah.
How did they approach you?
No, actually, it was a real surprise for me. I kind of built the relationship with Connor Pardo from the Bubbly event. I was in contact with him, and Sam Flaxman at the time was working with them. He was cooler, and that was kind of the liaison and person I talked to. So I kind of built the relationship, and then that events happened in August of last year. We're at the Kansas City tournament, and I get a call from Connor, and he's like, "You hear what's happening?" He was like, because before he was like, "When you're ready, just let us know. We'd love to have you over." Right.
Seeds.
So when he called, he's like, "It's time," and I was like, "It is. All right, it is." So I was like, "Sure." I've been playing a little bit, so I more than willingly signed up, and was excited to have a different venture because tennis was slowing down, and it was nice.
How many times have you picked up a paddle before you signed with the PPA?
To be fair, to be honest, not that much, man. I played a bunch leading up to that Bubbly event, like 2 weeks every day because I hadn't played. And then after that, it was like once a month with some friends. Like if I got the text, "Hey, do you want to come out?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll come out."
That's great,
but
dude.
until then, it wasn't much. But after that, it was some heavy training, and I didn't want to embarrass myself. So, I got a lot better than I was previously.
So yeah, let's talk about your progression, the transition. So, okay, you signed PPA. The next year, you agreed to, like, this is your job now. You're playing pickleball. Yeah, like, who are you training with?
Yeah, the training's been tough because I'm in Atlanta, so Marshall Brown and Rafa Hewitt are about an hour away.
Okay.
So I go up there
Go
and
with those
practice
guys.
with them some, and they come down to Atlanta to play. Then I have a guy, Alvaro Terron, he's a good player. He played a bit. Now he works a full-time job at Delta, but he beat Tyson in singles.
Yeah.
And he played with me. I was happy enough he played with me. My first tournament, we got our win, so that was nice. So I practiced with him almost all the time.
Yep.
And then there are quite a few 5-0s that are solid for the drilling and playing games and just working on some stuff. And
Yeah, it's coming quick, man.
yeah.
You're starting to see your results in singles, and I would imagine that feels more natural to you. That comes quicker. So in the singles game, what aspects of tennis that translating over? Like, okay, I was good at this there, and it makes me good at this here.
Yeah, for tennis, the aspects they translated were the angles, more like seeing the court. So
Now you're good.
it was like seeing the court like better than I think some of the players, because of the level I play, I just see it differently a little bit, and not like in a weird, just different. You just play, you just see, and I played with a lot of spin and angles and stuff anyway, so that was just how I played. So that's what I played in pickleball, and it seems to be work well with the hands and the spin and stuff like that. So just the spin, the movements, being at the net, I like to volley, and just hitting the ball pretty hard. I hit it pretty clean.
What are any maybe skills or shots that you've had to learn in the singles game?
Oh man, I learned a ton of different shots. The dink, I didn't want to dink at all. It was all speed ups, and third shot drives, when to hit the drives. Yeah, most of the all the tactical stuff that I didn't, I just wanted to hit. So that was the main thing, slowing it down. And then, the better you get in pickleball, it feels like the game slows down for you.
Yep.
And that's what it seems like it's doing a little more now than it did in the beginning.
Transitioning from tennis to PBs, or anything you miss? I feel like the pickleball environment is just so different from tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis is a little more developed, longer history.
Yeah.
The tour, the events probably feel way different. Like
Right.
just the access to players is very different.
Yeah.
Like if I was a tennis reporter, I'm not sitting down with Donald Young.
Yeah, it's
You know?
you got to schedule a time. It's like a total different thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's more open, more family-like, and more open, I think, and welcoming than tennis is in a sense. Tennis is more closed. The only other thing that I liked about tennis is when you're at the pro tournaments, you kind of can get into your own rhythm and space because you have your own spot. You can go away from everyone. You can settle down, get into your routine. Your practice courts are set up. You kind of can get into a routine that makes you feel good. But pickle is more, you got to find your
It's a little
spot
frantic,
there.
yeah.
Frantic, and you feel like a little flustered.
They should do the course scheduling thing, because I feel like even the pros, you guys are fighting for courts too.
We are,
to worry about,
100%, yeah,
and
we're pikes in 3 minutes, get kicked off.
Yeah.
Another 2, 10
which
dinks,
makes
we're
no
kicked
sense
out.
to me.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I feel like they should block off a few courts.
So then it becomes not a totally fair playing ground either, because one guy might have got 30 minutes on the court he picked, and the other one it was hopping around 10, 15 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I heard this take last night that the pickleball pro scene, part of the reason people aren't maybe giving it the respect or the attention that they think it deserves is because it's so open, and there isn't this division between the amateurs and the pros, and where maybe not division is the right word, but where you guys have your space,
right?
You're just so accessible. Do you feel like if pickleball was set up more that way, where it was a little more private for you guys at the events, so you can prepare, get ready for these things, the interviews were a little more scheduled, do you think that would change the perspective of how people viewed pro pickleball?
It's possible. When you can't touch or get close to something, it's more rare. It's a different feeling to it. But then it's also what makes pickleball cool.
Right.
You get on top of Tyson and Ben John and talk to them, and they're sitting there going to the same restaurant as you and having lunch, and in the line you're just talking about, hey, I just saw your match. So that makes it cool too. But on the other end, I think because you can never get up there and touch Federer or Rafa, unless it's some special experience. You can hopefully get an autograph after. But so it has its positives and negatives, but I like it because it's different.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I'm not sure if there's the right answer for that.
Right.
It's funny you say the restroom one, because the last tournament I was at, I went to the restrooms in the back, and Tyson's just sitting in line. I'm like,
exactly.
Oh, what's up, Tyson?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how it is.
One?
You next, that's how it goes, and that's how I feel. And it's and it's just you have these real human connections and conversations you would never have with some other people.
It's super cool that way. Well, fun, man. What's next step for you? You're gonna keep competing this year? Do you plan on staying? What do you think?
100%. I signed the PPA for 3 years. I'm all in. I'm excited to get better. I want to start going deep and hopefully win one of these things and get better, because I don't like to do anything half. I want to go full in and win, definitely.
And do you feel like you're progressing at the rate you'd like?
You know what? It could always be worse, but it could always be better. And that's progressing, which is the key. Is getting better. But no, I thought it was gonna be a lot faster. But it's very humbling, and I'm loving the process.
Well, it's cool, man. It's fun watching you, and obviously, the athleticism, the acumen is there, and it's just gonna keep happening, and it's already starting to.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for sitting down with me. It was fun chatting with you, and enjoyed it.
I love watching the videos. Keep it up.